Good afternoon, morning. Actually, it's 9:47. According to the clock in this old vehicle, which I had to actually manually reset. Weird, I know. So, this parking lot has been kind of a disaster zone today. It's kind of funny. There's these, you got these little cross lanes through here, right? And places where you park. Someone parked, they can't see the parking spots. Someone parked right in the roadway. They're like 3 deep, usually there's like 2 vehicles parked there. And it was messing a bunch of people up. And not only there were like 3 different things that were happening in this parking lot this morning. And by the way, it's December 11th and I'm in Steamboat Springs. And I am thinking about showing you how to avoid Steamboat Springs. Taking my time here. Okay. Yeah. Do I want to do that? Or do I want to just drive home? I think I'll just show you. It's about a half an hour. Half an hour's worth more of driving. Half an hour? Yeah, I can do half an hour. That's pretty good. So here we are in Steamboat. Ski area is up and running. The gondola is up and running. And I'm going to show you something today that might just save your life. That person gonna what? Okay. Anyway, I guess I go. So I'm going to show you how to not come into Steamboat. If you're heading over on Highway 40, which you typically would be from Denver, and you absolutely detest having to go through Steamboat, there are ways to get around it. I mean, I'll show you the best way today. Certainly you can go through Oak Creek. That would be better. I mean, depending on how you're traveling. But if you find yourself up here in this neck of the woods where you are on Highway 40 coming into Steamboat, or if you're just going through Steamboat and you want to do a nice drive, either way, this video's for you. So it's December 11th, it's 9:52, and Today the weather is clearing up, but you can see we've had snow recently. Not unusual. So, you're on Highway 40. It doesn't matter which way you're going, but you're over here. You just got off Rabbit Ears if you're oncoming, you're coming into Steamboat. If you're leaving Steamboat, you'll be turning on to Oak Creek, Highway 131. And I've filmed this highway before. It's a great place to not go fast is what it is. You don't want to take that corner fast. The road is thawed pretty decently right now, but let me tell you, if it weren't, it would be pretty bad. There are a couple ways you can go. I'll just go the simplest way here. So the first right, once you're on 131, you want to take it. It's right here. It is County Road 14F. Now, I did not know that, but I act like I know that so that you have confidence that I'm not going to get you lost, right? Wow. There've been no trains for a couple days. Well, no, they had snow last night, so okay. This is the back way into Steamboat. This is called the River Road, or we'll turn onto what is called the River Road if we wanted to go back into Steamboat. We don't want to do that. We are anti-Steamboat people for some reason, and we do not want to go into Steamboat. Steamboat is abhorrent to us. We do not want to smell Steamboat. We don't turn that way. That would take us back up into Steamboat. But we're going to head south on this. I think this is 35. I kind of forget what road this is. Okay. You can see what happens if you get off the road. You don't want to get off the road. This is actually a really nice drive. I'm making a deal out of it, like, oh my gosh, you can't go through Steamboat, but it's actually pleasant. It's a nice mountainous drive around Steamboat. Again, if you really seriously don't like traveling through Steamboat, and a lot of people don't. I'm not the only one. I'm not a big fan of traveling through Steamboat. If you're one of those people, this is a great road, and it's just a nice road anyway. So, but we're going to take our time on it today because this car is not my best four-wheel drive. I'm really thinking if I drive this car much more, I'm going to put some Firestone Destination XTs on this car too. I love those tires. This is really typical of this road, condition-wise. It's a little bit warm today, but we are still in early December. A month from now, this road should be nice and frozen, and there shouldn't be any, or should be very little of this freezy stuff going on. But that also depends on storms coming in and out. You know, when we have a storm coming in, we typically warm up to around freezing. And then when the storm leaves, we typically drop to several degrees below zero. Steamboat, not as severe as Craig. Craig, not as severe as Maybell. But, you know, everything is downriver from Steamboat. The Amp River runs through Steamboat, through Craig, and through Maybell. And the further out the direction you get, the colder it gets. I think Maybell is actually probably the coldest spot And I do believe Maybell has the coldest temperature recorded in Colorado. It's either 53 or 56 below. I think it might be. I need to look and see. Well, I need to look carefully and see, because with climate change activists trying to say that global warming has happened, the coldest temperature happened in the 70s. And back then they were talking about global cooling. So, but whatever works. I mean, anyway, the wind blows when you're a climate change activist. This week, the experts say, oh, well, no, climate change, there's going to be more snow. See, they can't make their mind up. Last year it was less snow. 10 years ago it was no snow. Now it's more snow. They do not know what the fuck they're talking about. And so they say stupid shit when it comes to the climate. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hell, they get their useful idiots to do it, the media. Anyway, we are hovering around freezing right now. Probably at like high 20s, and where there's good solar radiation coming through. Yes, the sun has a lot to do with the heat on this earth, shockingly enough, right? For the climate change people that say the sun has nothing to do with the warming that goes on in our world every day, actually, and the cooling that goes on in our world every night, and obviously this happens around the world as the sun rotates around the world. It's kind of like saying that the gas flame under their tea kettle has nothing to do with the rate of which the water is being heated. Or if you're in England and you got your little, your electric kettle, that coil that gets hot has nothing to do with the amount of heat that water is going to gain. That's basically what climate people are trying to sell to people, that the sun has nothing to do with that. It's quite ridiculous. I think it would be a really good way to term that. If we continue on this road will eventually dump us back off onto 131, much closer to Oak Creek than we were. We're going the same direction. We're heading roughly south. So we're roughly paralleling Highway 131. Just so you know that. .131 is the main thoroughfare through the mountains. This is a little feeder road, and there are little roads like this on both sides of 131 that feed up into the mountains, properties, people's residences, and so forth. So you can get up into this area. Oh, we're still on 14. Okay. Well, maybe not. 39. That looked like 14. I have no idea how I saw that. But yeah, that road is a dead end. But if you continue on this road, like I say, you will eventually get dumped out heading to Oak Creek. We're not going to Oak Creek today, though. We're just going to bypass as closely as we can around the southern edge of Steamboat. So if we were staying on this main road, we would actually turn up here. We'd make a turn right there, and we would continue on to our left, continue following that road. We're not going to do that today. And you can get lost out that direction, by the way. There are some forks in the road that, well, I found that out by getting lost that direction. So, just so you know. What's this person doing? Setting. In the middle of the road? On a relatively steep downhill grade. It is, they have gravelled the road. That's really great. They put some bottom ash on the road. And by the way, if you don't know what bottom ash is the ash that comes from a coal-fired power plant. And that's typically what they put on the roads around here. And a lot of places if they can get it. Because it's a soft rock, but it's like sandpaper. I mean, it's grit. So it works very well. Just for those climate, the climate panickers out there to know another benefit of burning coal that they probably don't understand or know about or even care about, really. You may notice that fakey cell tower up there. I'm not going to tell you where it's at. If you can't see it, but it looks kind of like a tree. They apparently had to do that up here because people have a lot of money up here. And they don't want to be distracted. They would rather see a fake tree than a real cell tower, I guess. And I don't know if I disagree with them. I think that fakey tree blends in pretty good in the summertime. Not so much in the winter. And we're not in winter yet. We're still in fall. We have a ways to go. All right. So you get to the little red schoolhouse here, and you're going to turn right. This gigantic line of mailboxes. This is the Hilton Gulch School. And we are now on Route County Road 41. And so we're sort of climbing up the backside of the mountain that is south of Steamboat. Just so you can be oriented. And we're up at about 7,400 feet. It's a little bit lumpy of a road. It's not that bad, actually. The snow is making it less bumpy, but it's still, we're still vibrating the camera a little bit. That's kind of where where that thought always goes for me anymore, because I have a camera in the car. I have had one lately. This might be my last drive to Steamboat for this company. No, I haven't quit. I'm not looking for a different job. Well, I might be, but my company is failing pretty miserably. I don't know if you can see me back this up. Oh, we are backed up. Okay. If you can see the ski hill, you can see we're heading basically north, and there's the ski hill in Steamboat again. So, and that mountain in front of us is actually the mountain south of Steamboat. So anyway, but we're on those mountains. We're in that area. Let me push it forward a little bit. It's kind of fun to have the forward point of view in some of my videos. But that, I bring up the potential that this is potentially my last trip for this company, last trip to Steamboat for this company, because, well, this company is failing. I mean, it's failing pretty bigly now. And it's been failing for quite a while, and I've watched it get trimmed down. A couple of years ago, well, in the middle of COVID, obviously a lot of companies were hit. This company was also hit, and I thought we were done. This was before I started filming. I think it was, yeah, a year before I started filming that this happened. It was in the middle of COVID. Anyway, when I say started filming, what I mean is this channel. I've got another channel called Old Town. I filmed on that channel for a few years. I've talked about it occasionally. It's been throttled pretty heavily by YouTube. Anyway. I think it's safe to say that my glory days, and that's a funny thing to say, my glory days of filming and having subscribers and, you know, having a popular channel are done. This never happened, by the way, with this channel. This channel was always pushed down by YouTube. I also think that I was responsible unwittingly for, obviously, when I say that, I don't mean my political talk, because I understand YouTube hates that. You know, the leftists at YouTube are not down with that. We are now on County Road 43, or we are continuing on 43. For some reason, that road, actually, I think it becomes 43 here. 41 just dies out. It kind of becomes a driveway right there where we made that turn. You'll know you're on the right road if you pass this white, I think this was an old schoolhouse, but it could have been an old church. It was one or the other. I think someone lives there now, or it may just be a hay barn or something. But it's taken care of. I've said from the beginning that my main goal is to make as high quality of a video as I possibly can. Because I don't care if you don't want to listen to me, mute the channel. My main emphasis has always been on making the very best, highest quality video that I could make. And that has served me well until recently, when the 2160p videos that I put out, I can't watch them anymore over my network. It's just, now I think YouTube might have quit compressing them, because I think that it requires a higher bit rate to run these videos than it used to. I believe that's the case. So the last video that I put out, I can pick the quality. And so I've been picking the maximum quality, but I thought, well, let me try to pick a bit rate that's a bit slower than 100 megabytes per second. And I did that, and I got several more views on the same video, or on the video. And so I'm wondering, I think I may be responsible for some of the throttling of my channel lately. So I'll probably continue for a while anyway, keeping the bit rate down on my videos. I'm still going to do them in 2180, 2140, whatever it is, UH ultra high definition. But I can sacrifice a little bit of the bit rate. It doesn't hurt the picture much. It bothers me more than anything else. It intellectually bugs me to know that I'm not putting the best frame rate that I can, the very best, absolute best I can put out there. But if it can't be played on most television sets, it's not worth doing. It's weird because you can play it on your phone and you can play it on your computer, because a computer or a phone is much better able to process that high bit rate. But learning this in the last few weeks, televisions, for the most part, if you have a really good wireless connection, you might be able to get a little bit over 100. I mean, this is my experience. So I have a TCL TV. And for me, I can occasionally play one of my full bandwidth videos, but it's pretty rare. But what I had to do was, well, I went through this process. First, I had my wireless set like 30 feet away. They would connect wirelessly. Then, for some reason, I lost my wireless speed slowed down. Whether that was a hardware problem or whether there's interference, local interference that's causing issues, I'm not sure. So I put a Ethernet adapter, and I ran my television. I have a fiber optic connection, so I've got gobs of speed, but I have no speed in my own little home network apparently. So I put my, like, a 10100 switch, and I have a media server with my TV that I operate. So I have a couple computers, TV being one, media server being the other, that I connected to the switch. Well, the switch would only do 92, megabits per second. That's not much. I mean, in today's high bit rate world. And in fact, that's not really enough to do 2160, at its highest frame rate. So, okay, fine. I looked into it and I thought, well, should I buy a new TV? Maybe this is something that the manufacturers, maybe they're intentionally limiting the speed of my television to get me to buy a new TV. I don't know. I mean, they have the ability to do that, I would assume. Maybe that's what this is all about. I don't know. I kind of think that's not. I think that YouTube changed the way they process the ultra high definition videos. Because it's not only mine that I can't watch. There are other people's videos that I can't watch also, unless I get it and change the settings to 1440, which is still good resolution. But anyway, so going through this process, I learned that my Ethernet is never going to be any better than like 92 megabits per second after having bought a gigabit switch that is able of doing a gigabit a second. So it was kind of an annoying thing, but still my computer's got a much speedier connection now. My media server does, and that's great. And if I want to watch the extreme high resolution stuff, I can just watch it through my media server rather than through Roku, the Roku side of the TV. So it's not all is lost, but I had to decide whether I want to lower my bit rate on my videos. And so I did, and I was able to watch that video in 2160, the last video that I put out, and more people were apparently able to watch it. So I'll probably do that for the near future. But it's kind of interesting that even the brand new TVs only have a 10-100 Ethernet connection. They've got a faster wireless connection, and that's what I eventually had to do. Was I had another wireless router I put right next to the TV. I mean, right up against it, and I moved it around until I got the best bitrate I could get, which was 114 megabits per second. But that's variable, that changes. Alrighty, now we are on, I believe, County Road 33 south. We're heading south. We're not going to go back up to the highway from here, but we could. From this spot, we could go directly north, and we could go back into Steamboat, or we could make a little turn on another county road, of which I don't remember the name, and it would take us a little bit further west and dump us off on Highway 40 about 5 miles out of Steamboat. However, I like this drive better, other than there's some really slippery spots here. I just need to be very careful that I don't slide off the road up here, because these tires are not great tires. Anyway, long story short, I have also made it harder to watch my videos. So if you're one of those people that couldn't watch them, that's what's happening. When you turn a video on and you just get a black screen, or it won't load, or it takes a long time, it will eventually load, then you're seeing what I'm talking about. And it's really common, I'm sure, because a lot of people want to try to film in really high quality. You know, that's what people shoot for. But yeah, interesting. All right. Glad to see they sanded this road a little bit. This is the twistiest and steepest part of this road. But it's not the only part that could get you in trouble. Now, I'm saying that if you have good tires in the four-wheel drive, you know, you're going to be fine, as long as you're not overdoing it. You know, if you're driving to the conditions, you're going to be fine. I'm having to drive a lot slower in this vehicle because of the characteristics of this vehicle right now are not nearly as good as the characteristics of my tracker, mainly because my tires are not as good on this car. They're old Big O tires. They're not my favorite. Firestone Destination XTs, which I would certainly advertise, but nobody, I'm sure Firestone doesn't want a cranky conservative like myself. Yeah, see, that was a slippery spot. And a lot of that has to do with the gearing of this car. Not working very well, but I was able to slow down. I knew I was going to spin a little bit until I got some traction, or until I got to the right speed and my tires started grabbing again. But yeah, we made it through there. So I had to drift. I was drifting on that spot intentionally. I knew I would have to do that for just a moment. Anyway, back to my thread. So my channel has never been popular. It's not going to be. The glory days of me having a YouTube channel are done with, because I'm not going to get on YouTube and suck up to the left just so that I can get an audience, so that I can make money. Maybe I should, but I'm not going to. A lot of people do, and I respect them about as much as you would think I would respect them for doing that. Basically, denying their actual beliefs so that they can make money on YouTube. For those of you that are doing it, running shotgun. Mess off. Yeah, for those of you that are doing it, you know who you are. Hope you're making a shitload of money, because some might say you're in a position where you could help people in this time of rampant censorship, when our own government has become the illegal criminal enemy. And yet you're more worried about making $1 on YouTube. So yes, I have a certain feeling towards those people that do that, you might say. I've been planning for this job to die for quite a while. Although, like I said, the last time this happened, I thought the job was going to die. I ended up getting double the work and double the pay. It was kind of odd, but I expected it, like I do now. I saw the handwriting on the wall, or the writing on the wall, the typewriting on the wall, the digitally generated writing on the wall. And I have planned what I want to do, to a degree anyway. And everything that I want to do is incredibly risky, but I have my own little company, and it is flexible enough that I'm able to do, whatever I want. It's your company, you do what the hell you want with it. And for my company, I used to build LED lighting, but I don't do that anymore. I'm quite glad to get out of it. My last account was a big retailer down south, jewelry store, and I loved working with those guys, but they had issues. That's funny. They had issues, really ridiculous issues, with my lighting, because they didn't install it the way I recommended them to install it. And so apparently, time to time, they'll come in and a piece of the lighting has fallen down. But you can only do so much. It doesn't matter. You can only do so much. I know how to put that lighting in, and I was able to put it in, and the lighting that I put in stays attached, because I understand the physics behind how that lighting works. And I described this to these people, but I get it. They were sold on a high-tech adhesive that I've used, by the way, also, that I don't like. In fact, it's UV curing cement. I'm not too impressed with it. Not for certain situations. Like if you have dissimilar materials that expand at different rates, you really don't want to glue that together with that UV that you'd be setting glue, it won't hold. That's why these lights keep falling down in their showcases. So what I would do is I would get the high dollar water clear silicone, and really clear stuff, and I would carefully apply that to the lighting, and I would put that in and make sure that I didn't get any bubbles in it. It was actually pretty easy to apply once you figured out the routine. Let it set, take a razor blade and clean any of the extra silicone that was sticking on the glass or wherever you were mounting it, and you're done. That's the last thing you'll ever have to do, and it looks really good. You can be looking at that and you won't even see it. It's pretty cool. So anyway, that was my last issue. And of course, you work through issues like this when you build things. So then this was all one-off lighting. I designed it. I designed the circuit boards, on my computer. Had a company out in San Francisco, bunch of nice guys, fabricate my circuit boards for me, and we did a pretty good run. I hired a few people, and we made a little bit of money. I wasn't expecting that I was going to get rich, but it was a lot of fun. And so I also do other types of things. I do construction, which might be really specialized construction. For instance, moving a museum exhibit, or helping to build a museum exhibit, or making components for museum exhibit, plural. That's been interesting. But I'm looking at doing some different things. I talked about it in several of my videos. Things that I'm interested in doing that are related to today's climate. When I talking about climate, I'm talking about the political climate. I see a need for some machinery that has not been around for a while. I think that there's an actual need to do some stuff. So I'm working on that. Well, I've been too busy this year to work on that. It appears to me, though, that now I'm probably going to have the time to work on that, so I'm going to have to get busy and get it done. And if you've never built anything to sell, you probably don't understand just how difficult it is, especially if it's a lot of little parts. It's really, I've been able to do it because I have kept the machinery that I build and sell, I keep it as simple as possible. But I make sure it's useful. I mean, number one, it's useful. Number two, it's simple. Same thing goes here. We got the trains this morning. Typically they'll probably run a train or two through here. We are heading towards a little valley out here on County Road 33. Well, this road will end in a second. This road will go from County Road 33 to, I believe it's County Road 27, which is also and more popularly known as 20 Mile Road. We're right in the middle of 20 Mile Road right now. And you can see that the railroad track goes under the trestle there is actually the highway. It's County Road 27. I think it's 27. I used to work at this mine. I didn't work directly for the mine. I worked for a scientific company, lab work, which was kind of neat. That job ended when the contract between the company that I was working for. I'll let these guys go ahead of me. They look like they're going pretty slow. Oh well, if they need to pass me, I'll get over. I'll let them pass me, or whatever. I'm not in any big rush. I don't want to go fast today. I don't know how fast these guys are going, but if I keep my foot out of it, I'll be fine. So anyway, I worked for a company that took care of the lab out here, and that was an interesting job. But it, like every job, they go away. Used to be a really cool house up here that was the mine headquarters. I don't know why they tore it down. It was a neat house. Maybe when they moved their mine headquarters down into the valley, maybe there was just no reason to have it up here. I don't understand. Or maybe it was a really old house that they had remodeled. I don't know. But it was really neat. It was a nice looking sort of chalet kind of style, with pine trees around it. The pine trees are still there. I think most of them are still there. Looks like we're getting a little bit of snow over here. We are directly north of the flat tops. Right now we're north of what they call Dunkley flat tops, an area that you can't see in the clouds. It's over to our left now. We're heading roughly west, west northwest to Hayden. There we go. Yeah, road conditions are about as bad as they get as far as the road surface. But we're so warm we get some nice spots like this. But it's very, very slippery. This is not one of those days you want to be not paying attention. But it's nice to get a little bit of blacktop showing through. So we have successfully got around Steamboat. We didn't have to come down to 20 Mile Road, but it's winter. My channel is basically a winter channel. The people that watch it like to see snow. I like to see snow, and it's snowing. So it seems like a natural, right, to come down here. Those guys just got a school bus. That looks like a new addition to me. This little spot is an interesting spot. We're about 7,000 feet here, and the wind really howls through this area. It's kind of cool what they do. Over to our left, they go out with a maintainer and they'll plow big ridges of snow up, and those become the snow fence. It's kind of neat what they do. And it does work. It's definitely a workable thing. What's going on here? So, there we go. This has been a fun job, really. Without telling you what it is, it's been nice to be able to drive in this area that I really love and see so much of it and get paid. And not only that, but to have the ability to film it so that you can see it. I think that's really cool, and I hope that you've appreciated it. I don't know for how much longer I'll be able to do this, because I really don't know what the future holds. I know we have a pretty iffy situation in the States right now. If we cannot get our elections under control and legal again, we've lost our country. It's a hard thing to say, but it's the truth. And it may be that we've already lost our country. Where are the judges? Where are the law enforcement people? Where are the watchdog bureaucratic agencies right now? Why are they so damn silent about this that's been going on? We know what's going on. It's not a theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. The left is always pushing that. We know what happened. Don't insult our intelligence, you fuckers on the left. But they can't help it. I mean, the left has got to lie in order to get support. The only people that will support the left are people that are evil bastards, that believe in the death and destruction that the left is bringing, that the left always brings. Socialism is communism light. Communism is evil. Communism is the good old boy network at gunpoint. That's what communism is. So, I've said that a lot, and that's like one of the reasons why I don't have too many views on my channels, because YouTube does not want this message to get out. Thankfully, there are a lot of people on YouTube that have established themselves long before the algorithm got as good as it is. They got a subscriber base who fiercely follow them. And I fiercely follow Tim Pool, Carl Benjamin, and some others. Steve Crowder. Because they are the honest people in the room. They are the revolutionaries that are willing to say what the hell, you know. They're not scared. They're not sucking up to YouTube for the money, which other channels do. And I can't watch channels that do that anymore. I just gotta say it. Matt's Off-Road Recovery, I used to love that channel. But those guys are so dependent on that dollar that they're getting from YouTube that they'd probably say whatever to get that money. They keep their views to themselves. Riding shotgun, he's another one of them. I hate to say it, but he keeps his mouth shut about politics. Occasionally he'll say a little bit about it, but he's chasing that money too. I guess your priorities are what your priorities are. That describes you. How else can it be, right? You are what you do, you know. You are what you eat. You are what you do. So if you're kissing YouTube's ass for money, where is your priority? Who is your master, you know? And you've decided, apparently, if you're a conservative, you've decided, screw these conservatives, I'm out for the money. I'm out for myself. I just find that kind of distasteful, you know? I don't watch those channels anymore. Well, I've watched Riding Shotgun a couple times, but he's still, you know, trying to get that big money. You know, if I had a large subscriber base, I don't know what I'd be doing. I might be doing the same damn thing. I might be a hypocrite. I don't know. I would hope not. Because there are people that have huge subscriber bases and they state their mind. I mean, they're not actively trying to anger YouTube, but they're also stating their opinion. They're not afraid to state their opinion. But they've also worked the money out. You know, they've worked it out so they don't have to rely on the YouTube income. Kind of interesting. China does the same thing to people. They get them hooked on that sweet money, you know, the Belt and Road Initiative, and then they own them. Because these countries, for the most part, once they're hooked, they're hooked. You know, they don't want to badmouth their people that they owe a bunch of money to. There are some nice developments in that area. Italy, for some weird reason, a few years ago, well, probably the government at the time in Italy wanted to be China's pal, and they signed up for the Belt and Road Initiative. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with Italy? What's going on, man? Because it's obviously a criminal venture. where you're giving up your sovereignty to China. And they're going to take everything that they can take. So, I never thought Italy would do something like that, but yet they did. However, under Giorgia Meloni, they got out of the Belt and Road Initiative. They've stopped it. They are going to be done in March. And that's a great thing. I'm glad to see that. I never understood that to begin with. It was just kind of a vexing thing. Anyway. Rather than follow this guy, which I would just pass him, I am going to, if my car will let me, go here. There we go. Now we are on 51C. We have got off of the famous 20-mile road, but it only goes about 2 or 3 miles further and it catches I-40, or Highway 40. I call it I-40, Highway 40. But we're gonna head up over by the airport. While this isn't the most roadworthy vehicle, it's still pretty good. I think we're going to do okay up here. We are on one of the 51s, Routt County 51s. There's a lot of 51s up here. There's 51, 51A, B, C, and D. I think this one is 51C. Anyway, this is actually a shortcut into Hayden. You don't really save any time, but you save a mile or two. And for me, I enjoy it. Let me back up my camera a little bit. There, I'll back it way the hell out. So half of the screen is my Jeep, the nose of this Jeep. I like to come this way just in case I can catch an airplane taking off or landing. I like going by the Hayden Airport, which, by the way, I used to work at. Back before TSA came about, I was security for 1 year at that airport. I didn't like that job. I don't have the, this dude doesn't, there we go. You know, dogs that chase cars have a real good understanding of where the cars are. So when you hit them, oh yeah, they're doing pretty good. That dude's catching me. I'm doing 28 miles an hour, and these dogs are staying behind me. Now he's gonna drop back. He probably hasn't had too many cars to chase. It looks to me like there have only been 2 or 3 vehicles up this road. So, yeah, he gave it up. He probably needed to run. You didn't see all that, but him and his friend, Great Pyrenees, were were both chasing me. They just do that for fun. That's their fun time. Now, if there are sheep around, they get serious. They can be, in my opinion, they can be really dangerous. So one must be prepared when you're out in the hills around here, where there are Great Pyrenees guarding sheep. And when I say one must be prepared, what I mean is you better be carrying a weapon. You know, the kind of weapon that the Second Amendment allows us to carry. Because that's what it will take. If one of those dogs wants to eat you, they're big dogs. And then if you survive an attack like that, then go find a lawyer and take that rancher to court. I think that they deserve that. I don't like Great Pyrenees. I understand why they use them, but they are, I don't. I think they're way too dangerous dogs. I've had several interactions with them. I've never had to shoot one, but I sure as hell would. Okay, can I get across here? Gotta watch. Gotta kind of hit it hard here because it's a steep hill. There we go. Now we're looking at the airport. Okay, let's go ahead and use some gearing here. I never see traffic on this road, ever. That was a first. I know there's traffic on the road. I see tire tracks on it. But that was like a gigantic traffic jam for this road. This airport gets built all the time. It's kind of like if this airport were a person, it would be a female movie star. The older it gets, the more work happens out here. You know, I mean, that's how female movie stars are. They keep butchering their faces and butchering their faces until they look like freaks, and it's too late by then. Well, they keep adding onto this airport and adding onto this airport. And they're getting ready to do another big addition. A construction company built a little city, basically, over off to our right. Probably about 15 trailers, all the construction, you know. And what they did this year was they changed the route of one of the 51s. I think this is 51B up here. The road used to make a hard left right up here and go straight all the way to the buildings that we'll see in just a moment. That's there. You can see that far arrow up there, yeah, right? Yeah, that's where it used to go. Now, as you can see, they've closed the road. And they built this road. It's slick here. These are awful conditions to drive in today. I'm glad that I'm on the slow stuff. We are getting snow, really, really light snow. We're at freezing. so the snow is turning into water. But this is what they built. Anyway, we'll bitch about the weather some other time. I'll bitch about the weather on my own time. Now I'll bitch about the weather on our time. Because, as it happens, right? The reason that the delineator poles are double out here, that's not accidental and that's not comical. There will probably be, if we have a regular winter, there'll be that much snow that you'll need those. They used to be all over the place around here. But in the 80s, and in the 90s, it was warmer here for a while, warmed up from the 70s. And the global warmers loved that because they were saying, oh, that's conclusive evidence of global warming. No, that's conclusive evidence that the weather knows what it wants to do. But that's neither here nor there, right? So a lot of these double poles, delineator poles, got retired because CDOT was apparently, or enough people in CDOT, Colorado Department of Transportation, were in the tank for global warming. They thought, well, we won't need those anymore. We're not going to get snow anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if they had plans of selling their snowplows because people were saying, well, it's not going to snow again. Ski areas, you know, that was a big deal a few years ago, if you remember. Oh, ski areas are going to have to do something different. They're going out of business. There's not going to be any snow ever again. All the bullshit that the climate people, if you wonder why I am so annoyed at climate people, well, that's really probably the main reason. They're so full of shit. They absolutely keep their eyes closed to what's actually going on in the world. They follow their ideology. Their eyes are so fucking tightly shut, they may as well not have eyes. They do not want to see the reality of the world. They do not want to know what's really happening. They are in the tank for their climate religion, and that's fucking that. That's that. And it annoys me to no end that people are so fucking stupid. To be that stupid, to be that stellarly stupid, there should almost be an award. Oh, there is an award show for that. Yeah, called the Grammys and the Oscars. That's right. Because a lot of those people are that. They're that fucking stupid. I get it. You know, as a kid, you're an impressionable kid. Your stupid parents send you away to college where even if they're conservative parents, for some reason, they still send you away to college, even though they know you're going to get indoctrinated. And you do. And then you come back home, or you never go back home because now you've learned that family is terrible, that your parents are bigots and white supremacists or whatever, and that the only way forward is cutting all ties with any of those thoughts that you may have had as a kid, conservative thoughts. You've got to cut ties with that, and you have to start living, you know, the modern way, right? The propaganda that you're taught in college. If you are a weak-minded person and a weak-willed person, you fall right into that shit. You become one of those people. And if you're incredibly weak-willed and you don't go out of it in your 30s, which a lot of people will, then you become somebody like anybody that you see getting in front of a microphone, getting a Grammy or an Emmy or an Oscar. And you really do. You get paid a good wage, as people do, to become the biggest fucking idiot that they can make you. and you have a comfortable life because you've got your degree, you've got your, what is it now, like about an 80 or a 90 or $100 or $150,000 a year job. You get your student loan canceled. You're already wealthier than the regular people in this country, and then you get your student loans canceled on top of that. The kind of treatment that you get when you're on the left is kid gloves. Life is good for you. You've got what you need, right? As long as you toe the line, as long as you believe in everything that you're supposed to believe in, as long as you believe that white supremacy is the scariest thing out there in this world, whatever the hell white supremacy is, considering that, well, the quote-unquote white supremacists like myself are regular people. We are not racists, and we're also not white all the time. We're black, we're Mexican, we're Spanish, we're Indian, we're Asian. But if you're on the left and you want to continue keeping your little cushy job, then you better damn well keep your mouth shut about reality. So climate people, they have incentive to keep their eyes closed. They have incentive to be Democrats. They have incentive to lie, to carry the water for the Democrats who have become communists. And that annoys me. And if I speak out about it, well, everyone hates me. Oh, I'm a bad guy. And YouTube is like, well, that's just misinformation. We've got to shut that channel down. And morons like Al Gore, who's a gigantic criminal, by the way, was pushing that line just this week. He understands that people are understanding that what he did was a crime, it was criminal, and that climate change is bullshit. And so, in his mind, the course of action is, no, not to become honest, not to do the right thing. We need more censorship. So he's calling on more censorship. Of course, it's that time of the season, right? We're on the cusp of another election. What criminal behavior the conservatives were able to thwart the Democrats from doing, which I don't know if it's very much at all, but they will do their best to shut that down and change it using their censorship to shut others' opinions down. They want to be the only ones to have a say, and that's what they do. Fuck them. I say. And the horse they rode in on. That's the proper way to finish that. So for those of you leftists who apparently haven't had enough abuse yet and you're still watching, I want to explain something to you. This white stuff, sort of a brownish tinge on either sides of the road, is called snow. That snow came out of the sky. White supremacists didn't make it and spray it all over the road, or the fields, or the mountains. That's what the weather does. When the sun comes out, it melts that snow. When the planet is reoriented into a position where the sun is more directly above us, we are in spring or summer, and we are warmer. And the reason we are warmer is because the sun has more effect on us. The reason that weather changes is because of changes in the power source of the weather, which is the sun. The variables in our climate are due to our position in relation to the sun, and the forces that go on this earth, mainly volcanism. Climate will get warmer and it will get colder in direct relationship to how much power the sun is putting out. And you can see that factually in real, unaltered data, that the sun and the temperature tracks directly. The CO2 bullshit that you're told is a gigantic Trojan horse. It has nothing to do with climate. It has everything to do with shutting industry down in the West. Just like environmentalism was supposed to do in the 70s and in the 80s, climate change is supposed to do that now, near post-millennium, right? I think it's going to fail. I don't think you're done fucking things up, though, leftists, but I think you're going to fail. I think you're going to fail this time. Eventually, you're going to win. But what you're going to win is not much of a prize, and I don't think it's going to be soon. I think you're going to lose this round. Just so you know, that when you get on my channel and you comment and you whine about me blathering on about stuff, I could care less what you think. I have no respect for you at all. You're worthless in my mind, in my eyes. And if there's anyone who's a burden on society, it's somebody who refuses to open their eyes and see the truth about what's going on around them. It's also someone who relishes and revels in the suffering of others. And that's what you guys do, and that's what you guys are. That's what communism results in. It happens every time. Another thing that happens pretty much every time, coming back from Steamboat, is that I get behind people that are going slower than they should. And I'm sensitive to that because I'm working. Now, keeping in mind I have just spent a lot of time on a back road. But anyway. Maybe we're going to do okay here. These guys are looking pretty decent. Now they're going slow. Crazy truck. I think it's a giant vacuum. I'm drinking coffee right now, in case you're wondering. It's very good. I don't know if you can see that cell tower over to the left, but yeah, you might be able to. Maybe not. You might have been able to. Probably not. So never mind. I won't put you through that story. Not today. Maybe not ever. I don't know. I think I already talked about that. I typically talk about things that I see alongside the road. I don't really have a cheat sheet that I use when I think about what I want to talk about. I just whatever, you know. Whatever comes to mind, whatever is on my mind, is on the menu. I will not miss this drive one little bit. I will miss my other drives, but I will not miss Craig to Hayden, or no, Craig to Steamboat Drive. It is, there's always somebody slowing around. I mean, right now I'm doing 56, 57. I'm just backing away from these people. There's, you know, I'm not going to chase them and pass them, but this is typical. And when you drive for a living and you have a schedule, you're mindful of when you're wasting time. Again, we came back on a very slow road, a slow route. So I'm able to do that, but I can compensate for that. And truth be known, I am just impatient about some things. Especially when it's somebody doing something that they don't need to be doing. All that extra driving that I did is going to result in about 12 extra miles, and that's it, of travel time. It's quite interesting that we can go so far off of a line and it's hardly anything really. 12 extra miles. You know, 120, about 300, it's about 360 miles easily. Okay. I'm debating on whether I want to gas this vehicle up today or if I want to go up and gas it in bags. Do I want to go that direction? I certainly don't want to go through Steamboat. I don't know. Not bad. You just hit the brakes. Pretty neat little painting up there. That's actually a big tarp, I believe. They take that thing down and put it up from time to time. Then that's the backside of a movie theater. It's kind of cool that that movie theater structure is still there. How many of those are around anymore? Answer to that question is not many. I guess I'm just going to get gas here. I would like to get gas in bags, but I don't know that I want to go that way. I probably do. I don't know that I want to even take this car. And if that's the case, I still want to have it full. So, yeah. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it good. Take care.